Ready to take your life to the next level? Then you're in the right place. Get all the information you need to be better, improve everything, and live life like a pro. This is the MenProvement Podcast with Sean Russell.
Welcome back to the MenProvement Podcast. What is up, guys? Thank you so much for being here. I'm your host, Sean Russell. I'm the CEO of MenProvement.com, and on this podcast, I interview the most incredible men alive to get them to dish out their secrets and give us step-by-step instructions to improve our lives. And today, I actually am not interviewing anyone. This is a solo podcast, and it's actually by request. And once again, apologies to whoever sent me an email requesting this show. I have been so backed up with the Academy that I haven't been answering emails, and I've been deleting them like wildfire. So I totally forgot your name, or I didn't write down who requested this, but of course I wrote down the show topic, and it's habit hacking. It's all about controlling your life and the results in your life by controlling and hacking your habits. And it's a fascinating topic, and this is going to be a really incredible show. So thank you to whoever it was who requested this topic. And it might have been E-Man, because you email me almost every other day with a new topic, and I appreciate that, man. Keep them coming. And anyone out there who's listening, if you have a topic that you want on the show or a person that you want interviewed, please email me at sean@menprovement.com, and I'll do my best to make it happen. There hasn't been a topic emailed me yet that we haven't pursued and are not pursuing right now, or haven't had a show about already. We have literally done every single one, or are pursuing every single one, and connecting with the perfect people to interview for that topic. So if you're sitting home and you want to learn about becoming a multi-orgasmic man or something, because who doesn't want to learn about that? We will have a show on that eventually. Don't hesitate to email me, because I'll make it happen. And then we can't think of everything. You know, it's hard. It's a lot going on. So your requests are amazing, and I'm so grateful for them. And I'm so grateful for all the reviews on iTunes and everything, because you guys are helping the show grow, and it's just a great way for you guys to give back, and I appreciate it so much. So before we jump into the show, I just want to say that the Academy is closing for its $50 admittance in 1 week. So, you know, this is a really incredible opportunity. I just want to reiterate, I'm not trying to oversell you here, but I'm pouring my heart and soul into this Academy. And in a year from now, looking back at this launch is going to be funny, because it's going to cost over $500 to be in the Academy. I hope that the full year-long self-improvement program will be done. God knows how many programs will be in there, but if you sign up for the Academy in the next week, you're going to get in for $50, and you'll never pay another penny. You'll get all 5 programs that we have right now. I explained them all last week, but I just have to say that the 3 programs, the one with Dan Monroe, the one with John Cooper, and the one with JD Dallas, they are unbelievable. You know, these guys are some of the most knowledgeable, incredible people in their field. And I actually convinced them to sit down with me and get on Skype with me 10 times each to give you guys a step-by-step process to first become an incredibly confident man from the inside out. Then get the correct mindsets to fulfill yourself, and then instead of approaching hot girls and beautiful women, be able to invite them into your awesome life, and how you do that. And then I got JD to sit down and give us some mechanics on what to text her, what to do on the first date. And each program is amazing. And if you're a guy out there who is into meeting women, then you can't afford, in my opinion, not to have these programs, because I want to say, like visualize yourself having listened to these programs and doing everything that they said a year from now. Visualize who you are. You know, your goals might to be great with women. Well, these are going to get you there. And we're going to talk about that today with the habits, but then visualize yourself and imagine yourself if you don't listen to these programs and you don't do all those things every day for the next year. You're a completely different person. And I'm grateful that I was able to be part of these interviews. They're that informative, and I learned so much just doing them. I never would have learned this if I didn't create these products. And now I want you guys to listen to them so badly, and you have such an incredible opportunity to do so at $50 for all of them. And let me tell you, they're all going to be at least $100 each. So you're getting an incredible bargain. And then not only does your $50 get you every single program, but any program we ever come out with. Like if I interview Maya Jordan or Sasha Cobra 10 times about sex and how to please women, you're not going to pay for it. Another $100 program that comes out, you're not going to pay for it. If I have a guide on Tinder that comes out, you're not going to pay for it. You're going to be a member of the Academy forever because you are with us from the beginning. We're planning on making this the most incredible website and academy for men. Eventually, there's going to be a year-long self-improvement program that we decided to do an extra program instead of that course or starting that course, but we'll be starting it very soon, and you're not going to pay for that. And I just want to let you guys know what a great opportunity it is and that I'm pouring my heart and soul into it. And you know that everything that I do, I strive to make it as incredible as I can. So I'm not just trying to sell you guys. I truly know that this stuff can improve your life because it's already affected my life just doing the interviews. So check it out. You can go to MenProvementAcademy.com. You have a week left to get in for $50. And that's it. You know, you can get in after that, but the price is going to quadruple after April 14th at 12 o'clock at night or 11:59 or whatever. So, you know, check it out. Go look at it. Go read about the programs. You can listen to the first 2 episodes of every program for free. So check those out if you want. And if you're listening and you're like, wow, these are amazing, I got to learn more, which you will be, then, you know, have a look, purchase it. And if you're not happy after you purchase it, I'll give you every dollar back within 80 days, 90 days, 100 days. I don't care. I'm not going to hold your guys' money. It's not about that. It's about helping you guys. And every dollar that you guys give to us goes towards making the Academy even better, getting better guests, getting better interviews, and hiring people to make more stuff. So it's all in the life cycle of building MenProvement.com and helping you and myself become better men. So that's my rant there. Sorry about how long that was, but I'm very passionate about it. And today's show is about habits and hacking your habits. So we're gonna get deep into the mind, and essentially what it is that everything that you do in your life on a daily basis determines who you become in your life. It's as simple as that. Let me use the example of weightlifting. You lift weights every day for a year, you're going to be really muscular. You're going to gain muscle, correct? And if you don't lift weights every day for a year, but instead of lifting weights, you ate a bag of chips when you would be working out every day for a year, you're going to be overweight. That's a very simple way to look at it, but this is how it works in every area of your life. Richard Branson is rich and successful because of what he did day in and day out for 10 years to create the life that he had, to automate success. And if you're at home and you're listening to this and you don't have a job or anything, then you've created that reality based on the habits that you've done day in and day out for the last couple years. It's as simple as that. And I just want to start with that understanding of that success doesn't happen by accident. Successful people don't become successful for no reason. It all comes down to the small, minute, very small actions that you take over and over and over. It's reps and miles of these little habits. So if you want to be successful, then you've got to hack these habits. You've got to get all of your habits to be amazing so that they propel you forward. And it's quite possible. It's really possible. I mean, every single one, maybe you're still going to have some bad habits in there, but if you can get the majority of your habits to propel you forward, then you're going to succeed. So that's my intro. We're not going to have intro music today. We're just going to go. I'm going to try to get all this out in the next 20 minutes to give you a step-by-step procedure to succeed and program your mind. So talked last week to Andy Murphy, and he's essentially an NLP practitioner, and he helps guys program their mind. And that's exactly what we're going to do here, which is why I thought this was a great time to have this show. So let's talk habits. All right. Science shows that 45% of what we do every single day is habitual. 45%. Now, this means things as small as checking your phone when you get a text message, because the way a habit works is there's 3 steps to a habit. There's a stimulus, there's a reaction, and there's a reward. So, for example, with the cell phone, you get a text message and you hear the ding. If you didn't know what your phone was, you wouldn't immediately check your text the first time you ever got a text and you heard that ding. You wouldn't. But the first time that you heard that ding, you looked at your phone and you saw you had a text from your friend and he invited you to a party. So there was a stimulus, there was the ding, there was a reaction, you looked at your phone, and there was a reward. You got to see a text, and your brain is happy about that. Your brain wants to program things that reward you. Your brain likes reward. So essentially, every time you hear your cell phone ring now, you're automatically inclined to check your phone because you know there's a reward of you seeing the text at the end of the line. But if the first time that someone texted you or the first time you heard a ding, you looked at your phone and it shocked you like a taser, then you wouldn't do it next time because there was no reward at the end of it. So that's how habits work on a scientific level. And you might be wondering then, why do we have bad habits if it's only with reward? Well, bad habits reward you. They really do. And they reward you in the moment. For example, watching porn rewards you with an orgasm that feels really good because you have unnatural levels of dopamine in your brain. Eating a whole bag of chips rewards you in the moment while you're eating those chips with oxytocin and dopamine, and it just feels really good. But 3 hours later, you feel like shit. So you get a reward from these habits that are self-sabotaging habits as well. And that's the caveat. So how do we program our habits? Like I said before, we make hundreds of micro decisions daily. And it is the sum of all of these micro decisions that we make over and over that determine the outcome of our life. Seriously, I gave the gym example before. So think about this. 45% of what you do every day is habitual. Even going to bed at night to sleep is a habit because you know your bed is associated with sleep. You get the reward of better sleep as opposed to sleeping on your desk. You're not rewarded compared to that. So when you get tired, you go to bed. That's a habit. When you get stressed, you eat chips or you bite your nails or you watch porn. When you get emotional, you watch porn. When you get stressed, you might get lazy and just watch TV and not feel like going to the gym. And all these little habits, you make millions of micro decisions. You come to crossroads every single day over and over. The gym or the chips, the apple or the chips. You know, I don't know why I keep using chips as an example, but I guess I just see them as junk food and it's a good example. So I'm going to keep going with that. But every little decision that you make, it might seem inconsequential to you in the moment. And it is, quite frankly. You know, your world's not going to shatter by skipping the gym today. You're not going to lose all of your muscle. But over time, these micro decisions compound. So a decision to eat a bag of chips over an apple might seem like not such a big deal in the moment, but compounded every single day or every other day for a year, times that by 365, you'll probably have 10 extra pounds of weight on your body, and you might even have a disease because of all the processed food and all that. So we're not looking at the day-to-day effects. They seem very inconsequential. Like, oh, I'm not going to work out today. It's okay. But it's when these habits compound over 3 years, over 10 years is when you really start to see the difference. Like Andy Murphy last week, he talked about, yeah, you can go to the gym and you start to get muscular, but when you're working on your life, you don't see the muscles. You don't see it. Other people can't see it, so people quit and give up. But it's in 3 years, it's in 10 years, it's in 20 years. That's when you see it. So it's worth it to program as many percentages of that 45% of habitual habits to help you. So you already have habits that help you, obviously, like eating and sleeping and things like that. And checking your phone is a good habit. It can help you. But you have habits that destroy you, like porn, like not approaching women and eating junk food, being lazy, watching too much TV that's not deserved rest. All these bad habits are not helping you. So what we're going to learn now is how to program your brain and hack your habits so that every single 45% of your daily habitual actions are propelling you towards success. And what happens is once all these habits become implanted in you over a 6 month to a year period, that success becomes automatic. It's not something that you're chasing after. It's something that you just create because it's who you are, and the 45% of what you do daily habitually creates that success. So let's get into it. Step one is to remove the bad habits in your life. So how do you do that? For starters, you need to become consciously aware of all the bad habits you have in your life. Becoming consciously aware often seems to be the first step to anything. So for example, if every time you get stressed, you're biting your nails or you're snacking on junk food, then the first step would just be to question yourself. When you find yourself biting your nails or eating junk food, question yourself and say, what am I doing right now? What am I doing and why am I doing this? What am I doing and why am I doing this? That question can change your life. If you're watching porn or you're watching TV, just stopping and becoming conscious of it and say, what am I doing right now? Why am I doing this? And how does it serve me? How does it serve me is another good one. So eventually you're going to figure out all your bad habits. And I want you to write these down as an exercise. I want you to write down all your goals and all your values. So I want you to say, for example, I would write Sean Russell, and I would write down my goals, like to be one of the top ranked self-help teachers in the world and to build MenProvement to over 100,000 visitors a day. Then I would write down my values. So my values are, I'm bold. I'm purposeful. Everything I do has a purpose behind it. I'm bold. I approach women. I'm courageous. I approach women, but I'm kind and I'm caring. I like to give back and help people. So these are my values. Then I want you to walk around your life with these values in the back of your head. And whenever you're doing something, every hour of the day, I want you to ask yourself, how does this serve me? And does this serve my values? So if I'm laying down and I'm watching my 6th episode of The Walking Dead on Netflix, and I wasn't recovering from a broken leg or an illness or burnout or something, I would simply ask myself, what are my values? I'm purposeful, I'm bold, I'm actionable. How does this serve me, what I'm doing right now? And does this abide by my values? And no, it wouldn't. So I would have to change that. It would be a bad habit in my life because it doesn't serve my goals and it doesn't serve my values. So I would have to figure out then, okay, what triggered me to do this? Because the next step is to find your triggers. And even before this, what I recommend you do is you write down all the bad habits you find. So every time you catch yourself eating something bad, write it down on paper. Okay, well, I was snacking today. It didn't serve my purpose of getting a six-pack and my goals of getting a six-pack, my values of being a hardworking guy in the gym. And I caught myself eating a bag of chips and I couldn't stop. I couldn't stop it. So you'd write that down. That's your bad habit, snacking. Now, the next step is to figure out the triggers that are causing these bad habits and to eliminate them. Because remember, there's 3 steps to a habit: a stimulus, a reaction, and a reward. And the stimulus is a trigger. Like your phone dinging, that's a trigger. So it goes, oh, ding, that's the trigger, and I react to that trigger. So for every habit, there's a trigger. So for snacking and eating, it's often stress. For me, I find if I'm working too hard and I start to get overwhelmed, I don't even realize it, but I go and I'm like eating everything. I'm like snacking on granola and all this stuff because, like I'll talk about later, I shape my environment to help me with bad habits so I don't have junk food around, but I still snack. I'll eat a whole box of cereal because I'm fucking stressed out, and becoming consciously aware of that and saying, wow, how does it serve my purpose of being the healthiest guy I can be and my values of being healthy? How does this help me? It doesn't. I don't need this granola to be healthy. So what caused this? What's my trigger? And if the trigger is overwork and stress, then all I have to do to eliminate the bad habit is to eliminate the trigger. So I need to not let myself get overwhelmed and get stressed out. And when I feel that happening, I can stop and I can meditate for 10 minutes. So let's recap on this. You write down on paper who you are, what are your goals, and what are the values that you want to live by. Then you become consciously aware throughout the day of all the things you're doing habitually and naturally and without thinking, because these are your habits, they're automatic. And you ask yourself all the time, does what I'm doing right now serve me? Does it serve my values? If it doesn't, then you write it down. You keep track of it as a bad habit. You write it down, the bad habits that I need to eliminate. Then you look at each habit and you figure out the triggers. What's triggering me to watch excessive TV? What's triggering me to watch way too much porn? Is it because I don't have any girls in my life? Is it because I'm depressed or lonely or anxious? Yeah, Maybe. Well, then treating the cause will stop you from having to watch porn all the time and remove bad habits. So that is step 1. And that leads us into step 2, which is don't remove the bad habits, but replace them. So you're removing the triggers, but even if you do this and you don't replace the bad habits with good habits, you will go back to the bad habits. So for example, if you're watching porn every day, and if anyone's bought my program, How to Quit Porn for Good, you know if you try to stop watching porn and you don't replace it with anything else, then all you're sitting there with is a void and extreme urge to watch porn. But instead, if you stopped watching porn, but you replaced it with going for a jog every time you wanted to watch porn, or doing 100 push-ups every time you wanted to watch porn, you would not only stop watching porn, but you'd be doing a good habit instead. So don't remove, replace. That leads us to step 2, which is to program good habits. Now, this is where things get, actually, it's not much more complex, but it's a little more detailed. So how do you program good habits in your life? You know what your bad habits are, you've eliminated your triggers, and you've removed them for your life. And now you're going to replace them with great habits. So what are some good habits to replace them with? Well, obviously, exercise, eating healthy, self-education, meditation, anything like this, visualization, giving people compliments. I can think of a million. You can think of anything. It's any habit that serves your values as a person and serves your goals. So if your goals are to be the healthiest person you can be, then eating healthy and exercising would be 2 great habits. So how do we program good habits into our life? Make them automatic so that all the 45% of our daily automated habits are good, promote our values, promote our goals, and make success easy. Make us Richard Branson-esque, as I like to say. So the first step to programming good habits is called habit stacking. This is the first hack. This is when the hacks come in, and that's what I like to call them because they are. They're like hacks that no one knows about. They're like cheat codes of life, and it's pretty cool. So the first one is called habit stacking, and essentially, habit stacking is just stacking a habit on an already created habit. So let's think of an example here. Let's say you wanted to get into the habit of flossing, right? Well, instead of just trying to floss every day, which you'll likely forget to do, and it will be hard to stick to this habit, you can instead stack flossing on an already created habit like brushing your teeth. For most of everyone listening, I hope, brushing your teeth is something you do every morning and every night. It's a habit. So if you stack flossing on top of brushing your teeth, and every time you brush your teeth, you have a bowl of flossing picks next to your toothbrush, which we'll get into later, which is shaping your environment, then every time you brush your teeth, all you have to do is remember, okay, let me floss real quick. So you're stacking a new habit on an already created habit. And eventually, in 30 to 60 days, which we'll get into later, this new habit that you've stacked becomes a regular habit that you don't even have to think about doing. So what's another example? Let's say being grateful or practicing gratitude is a great habit to have. It's one of the most talked about keys to success is gratitude. So let's say you never remember to do it, but if you stacked gratitude on the habit of getting into bed every night, then every night you got into bed, you could have something on your wall that said, I am grateful for ... So every time you got into bed, you saw this thing on your wall and you said 5 things you're grateful for. And you did that every day and it became something you did automatically. So even if you were in a hotel room somewhere and you got into bed, before you went to sleep, you said, I'm grateful for my family, my friends, my health, and my happiness. And you said 5 things you're grateful for. And that is programming a good habit. So that is habit stacking. That's step 1 to programming good habits. Step 2 is starting small. Now, a lot of people don't know this, but essentially you don't have to go all out on a habit for the first 30 days. And science varies here. Some people say that a habit is formed in a month. That's what most people say. Some people say it's 66 days, but I'm going to say right now that a habit doesn't really become a true automated habit that you don't have to think about for 3 months to 6 months to even a year. Honestly, you can do something 30 days straight, but that doesn't mean you're going to wake up and do it without even thinking about it. I say you've got to do it every day for 3 months, and then it starts to become ingrained in your life. So An easy way to do this is to start small. So for example, if your goal is to get into incredible shape as a man, it's kind of intimidating if you don't work out much to get up and run 2 miles every morning. How many people have tried to do this? And how many people stop after the second day? Yeah, I mean, I've been there, trust me. So instead, science has shown that starting small, and I mean so small, like 1 push-up a day for 30 days, will help you ingrain a habit into your life and make it stick. So for example, say you wake up every single morning and what you usually did was get out of bed and you stretched and you put your slippers on. You know, it was a habit. You put your slippers on, you woke up because you get the reward of walking around your house without your feet being cold. So imagine that every time you put your slippers on, you were like, oh, all right, let me do 1 quick air squat and 1 quick push-up. So you did an air squat and you did a push-up and then you were done. And you're like, all right, I'm done. And then you went on and you lived your day. And you did that every day for 30 days, right? Now, you're not going to be in awesome shape, but what you are going to have is a habit of doing an exercise and push-ups and air squats after waking up every single morning. And then all you have to do is add on to your already created habit. So after a month, you can start to do 2 push-ups. And then after a month and 2 days, you do 3 push-ups. And you add on another push-up and another air squat every day until you're doing 50 and 50. And then 3 months have gone by and you've done this every single morning. And now you can start going for runs after that. And you have an ingrained habit that you automatically do every morning, and it's developed into an incredible habit. So you've used the first habit, you've used the first hack of habit stacking, and you've used the second hack of starting small to, in 3 months, create a really incredible habit of working out every morning before breakfast. So those are the first 2 hacks, and let's move forward because this next one is one of my favorites, and it's really powerful, really simple, but people rarely. Third step to programming good habits. The third hack is called shaping your environment. And it's so simple, but essentially think about it like this. If you have junk food in your house and every time you get stressed out, which is your trigger, you eat junk food, which is your bad habit, then I think you should eliminate the junk food out of your house, essentially shaping your environment. If your goal is to lose weight and your values are to be your healthiest self, then it would make no sense to have a bowl of M&Ms sitting on your counter, because everyone knows that if there's a bowl of M&Ms on my counter, I'm going to eat those M&Ms. You know, I mean, I might not eat them now because I've been eating well for so long habitually, but back in the day when I was first programming habits into my mind, I would eat the shit out of those M&Ms. So why would you have them there? And that's an extreme example, but this goes into every area of your life. And you can first eliminate bad triggers. So for example, if you're trying to stop watching porn, you got to get rid of the beautiful girls with big tits off your wall on your posters. You've got to get rid of the magazines in your bathroom that show all these girls. You've got to stop looking at the chive. You've got to eliminate and shape your environment to be able to not watch porn and not be triggered to watch porn. Then you can shape your environment to program your good habits. So let's take exercise again. Let's see. You wake up in the morning. Well, what if you, every night before you went to bed, you laid out your workout clothes in the morning and you laid out your shoes. So you woke up in the morning and instead of being groggy and not being prepared, you eliminated this decision-making power and you had your clothes laid out. So you put them on and you just did it. You went for a run. And then you got back and you had to go to the bathroom. So you went in, you sat down on the toilet, and there was a fitness magazine next to your toilet for you to read. And then you went into your kitchen to make breakfast, and there was no junk food. The bowl of M&Ms, you threw it out last week, but instead there was cut up carrots and vegetables in your fridge. So you're shaping your environment to allow your goals and your values of being healthy and getting in incredible shape or getting a six-pack. You're shaping your environment to make those goals automatic. Because what we'll talk about later is goals are great, but how many people have had a New Year's resolution to lose weight or to get a six-pack and never stuck by it? You know why this is? It's because you're not doing what I'm talking about. You're not programming your habits. You're setting a big goal. So instead of setting a big goal like I want to get a six-pack and then in 3 weeks, you fizzle out like most people do. And I would if I had to do it like that. But instead of doing that, you set your big goal. Of course, you can even have it on your wall. You can write it down. You could sign it. You could have pictures of a dude with 6-packs as motivation. But then all you can do is let go of that big goal and focus on what you can do every single day by programming your habits so that you don't have to try to achieve your goal, but your goal is a byproduct of your life because of what you do every day. So you stack good habits that will help you get a 6-pack on already created habits. You start very small by doing 1 sit-up a day. You shape your environment by getting rid of all the junk food and having a medicine ball in your living room ready to do, sit-ups. So it's easy and attainable to do so. And then eventually, you just, by starting small and doing these things over time, in 3 months, you're a 6-pack machine because it's what you do habitually and you don't have to think about it and you eat well. And then your goal manifests itself. People call it the law of attraction, but it's just programming your subconscious mind to create the reality that you want. And part of it is what we talked about with Andy, with your RAS and, your critical compound or whatever it's called and your subconscious brain and all this. But here we're talking about the surface level, programming the actual habits that you do every single day. And it is real, it's automatic. You can get rid of these bad habits and you can ingrain and automate in you great habits that not only fuel you to get a 6-pack, but to fuel you to do anything and be successful, like Richard Branson or Mark Cuban or any of the guys that I interview here on the podcast. They all got there because of the automated habits that they do day in and day out. And you can bet your ass that they included exercise, that they included self-education, that they included meditation, that they included taking at least 5 actions every day towards their goals, which is Jack Canfield's Rule of 5, which is awesome. So that gets me into my last point, which is the last hack to programming good habits into your life is to start with core habits. So no matter what your goal is, if you can habit stack and start small and shape your environment to program the 10 core habits or 5 core habits into your life that will help you in every area of your life, then all your other goal-specific habits and value-specific habits will roll off of those big habits. So what am I talking about here? I'm talking about core habits that almost every successful person has in their life as automatic habits. I'm talking meditation. And this one is optional because you don't have to meditate to be successful, but it will help you and it is a core habit. Then I'm talking exercise, which I think is mandatory for everyone who is living and able. Eating healthy, which another one I think is mandatory for everyone. Self-education, gratitude, giving back. All these core habits, if you don't have these in your life, then you got to start with these. There's no point in trying to program in a habit of approaching every hot girl you see before you program in the habits of gratitude and self-education and giving back and exercise, because these core habits, what they'll do is they'll make all the other habits easier. So let's use that example. Let's use a goal-specific example of approaching women. If your values are that you're courageous and great with women and your goals are to be extremely good with women and have 2 or 3 girlfriends in a month or 6 months, then you'd simply have to program into your mind the habit of approaching every single beautiful girl you ever saw. So this is hard, it's hard to do. So why would you not start with core habits? 1, exercise. It will make you feel better. It will make you better looking. Eating healthy, same thing. Meditation, you'll be calmer and cooler in the situations when you see a beautiful girl. You'll know more about yourself. You'll be more in touch with your heart and all this other stuff. And I'm not going to go into that hoo-ha, but it's real. And all this stuff is going to help you so that when you do start to program your goal-specific habit of approaching women, you can stack that on, every time you see a hot girl and you feel that buzz inside of you, you can stack on the approach. And you can do this by starting small. So you can approach maybe 1 girl a day and say, hey, I like your dress. You started small, then you walk away. And then after a month, you can go up and say, hey, I like your dress. What's your name? Oh, I like your dress. I think you're very pretty. Would you like to go out sometime in 2-3 months? Do this every day for 3 months and you are a different person. You can even shape your environment by moving into a city and getting out of the suburbs. You can have literature about meeting women and being immersing yourself in podcasts like you are now. And all this stuff is what makes that habit automatic. It's what makes someone who wants to be great with women in 3 years and successful. And you have to think long term, but you have to stay short term. I know it's hard, but whenever you say, oh, I'm going to lose 50 pounds, and then you don't focus on the daily actions, that's when you don't lose 50 pounds. But when you say, I want to lose 50 pounds, and you focus on the daily actions and programming habits, you can lose 100 pounds. Seriously, like it's that powerful. And the last hack to programming good habits into your life is to make your habits identity-based. So let's take the habit of approaching women, and let's take the goal of being good with women. So if I want to program a habit into my mind, which trust me, it's a great habit to have, of approaching every hot girl that I see, then it's no good starting by thinking, okay, I'm Sean who is terrible with women and who is shy, but I'm going to try to approach every hot girl I see. That's going to be difficult because essentially you have the identity in your mind that you are shy and bad with women. So approaching hot girls is going to be very, very difficult. But instead, you need to describe yourself as you did in exercise 1 with your values and your goals and who you want to be. And if this is one of the habits you want in your life, it's likely that your goal was, I want to be great with women. And my values are, I'm courageous, I'm bold, I say what I want and what's on my mind. So essentially, the next step to that is to create the identity of who you want to be. So I'm not Sean who's bad with women, who's going to try to approach women, but instead I need to see myself as I'm Sean who approaches every hot girl he sees and who is getting better with women every single day. Now, this might sound hard because you might not believe you're this person yet, but the next step to this is to create this identity, write it down, your ideal self. Write down your ideal self, once again, your values. I am Sean who approaches beautiful women, gets better with women every single day, and who attracts women naturally. This would be an example of what I would write down. So that is my identity that I want to embody. Then I would go out into the world and embody this identity by proving it to myself slowly over time. So, for example, if I have this identity out and I go out into the world and I see a girl and I'm really nervous, but I muster courage up and I went over there and I said, hey, how you doing? You look great today. That's all I'd have to do. And I would have just proved to myself that, hey, look, I'm not Sean who's bad with women and who's shy. I'm Sean who goes up and tells women what's on his mind because I just did it. That's proof. I am this person. And what that's going to do is that's going to embody you into your identity. And if your habits are identity-based and they're not habits that are outside the realm of who you are, so it's not the habit of approaching women when you're a shy dude, but it's the habit of approaching women when you're a guy who gets better with women every day, then because your habits are identity-based, they're going to be easier for you to do. They're going to be something you do naturally. So the last one, it's a little bit confusing and complicated, but if you can make your habits identity-based rather than goal-based and who you want to be and really embody the identity of who you want to be now and act and prove to yourself that you are that person, way to helping you program the habits you need to become that person into your life. So I know we just went through a lot, but I'm going to do a really, really quick rundown and then we're going to move on and I'll tell you how you can go out into the world and start doing this today more effectively. So 45% of what you do every single day is habitual. Every single decision you make during your day, today, tomorrow, the next day, will have a consequence in your life that lasts forever. It might seem minute and it might seem so small and irrelevant right now, but these bad decisions, these decisions to not approach that girl, these decisions to not eat that healthy food and to go for the greasy Chinese food, over time, they compound and they compound greatly. And James Clear, he has a great article that shows that making 1% change in your life, it is exponential. And that 1% change in a negative direction versus a positive direction in a year or 3 years' time is unbelievable difference. One brings you all the way down and one brings you all the way up. And it's like 1 to like the 17th power or something, like how powerful it is and exponential and different. And I don't have the science exactly, but I'll link to it in the show notes, James Clear's graph and explanation of just changing things by 1% every day in your life. But essentially, every single crossroads that you face will affect you for the rest of your life. And the goal is to win as many of those small battles, because you're not going to win them all. I'm not going to win them all. Richard Branson's not going to win them all. But to win more of those little small battles and make more good decisions than you do bad decisions in your life, and have more of those decisions affect you and go towards your success than you do that go towards your demise and your stagnation. And over time, times it by 3 years, times it by 5 years, you've made 1,500 good decisions versus 1,500 bad decisions that you would have made on a daily basis, and you are a completely different person. So the first step is to remove your bad habits, become consciously aware of your bad habits, weed them out, eliminate the triggers, and then don't just stop, but replace them with good habits. Start by stacking habits on already created habits. Then start by starting very small for the first month. Be patient. Remember, we're looking for 5-year gains, not 2-month gains. So don't feel bad for only doing 1 push-up a day for a month. Then start shaping your environment. Go around your house with your list of bad habits that you have and look at everything that contributes to that bad habit and throw it out and get it out of your life. Then start by programming the core habits into your life, like meditation, exercise. Maybe you're approaching women. If you're approaching women, eating healthy, gratitude, and all these things and any other ones that you want into your life first. And then make your goal-specific and value-specific habits identity-based. That's it. Seriously, start today. And I'll leave you with this to cap it off. And it's what I talked about today. And it's that you need to focus, no matter what your goal is, on the lifestyle changes versus the monumental movements. So you need to focus on your daily changes versus your big goal. Remember, someone who sets out a New Year's resolution to lose 100 pounds hardly ever does it. But someone who sets out in the new year to eat as healthy as they can every single day, make as many good decisions during each day as they can, and program positive habits into their life doesn't need the goal to lose 100 pounds, because if they're overweight, they will lose 100 pounds naturally. So it's okay to make that goal. Make the big goal. But then all you can do is focus every single day by hacking your habits, programming these habits into your brain, and ultimately automating success and the manifestation of your goal by doing everything that I just talked about today. And this stuff is fantastic. It's life-changing. I hope it helped you. So go out, get the pen and paper out, write your values down, write who you want to be, and let me know if you like this episode and if you want to hear more solo episodes like this of me talking about things that I do in my life and I think are really great. Email me at sean@menprovement.com. Shoot us a review on iTunes if you want, and I just appreciate you guys so much for listening to this, and I hope that this affects your life in a positive way. Thank you guys, and enjoy the process, enjoy the journey, and you'll get where you want to be.